Hi, I'm Indy, and this is another British Pathé top list. Now, I'm assuming you're all interested in mysteries, the unknown or the not quite logical, and today's mysteries are all about cities. Now, some of these we know existed, and some may be merely legends, but they all have one thing in common. They're lost. So here you go, 6 of the world's lost cities. Number 6, Iram, the city of the pillars, the Atlantis of the sand. Our first city today is what we believe to be a myth, and it was mentioned in the Quran. It's also featured in a lot of stories and tales, such as 1001 Nights. Now, in the early 1990s, archaeologists and adventurers claimed to have found Iram. Several camel tracks converged on a spot in the desert where they thought they'd found the remnants of a lost city, but their findings turned out to be an ancient fortress. Iram remains a vanished city. Number 5, Thinis. The capital city of ancient Egypt for a long time was Memphis, but before that, it had been Thinis. Now, this city is really and truly lost because, though it's often mentioned in ancient literature, no one has ever found it, not even a single brick, which is pretty strange because archaeologists have a fairly precise knowledge of where it actually was. It's supposedly near the modern city of Girga, but obviously lost beneath the sands. Now, that would be a very cool one to find. Number 4, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Okay, it's not really a city, but it was a main feature of one, so I'm counting it anyway. The Hanging Gardens are one of the 7 wonders of the world, and they are the only one of the wonders for which we have never found any real evidence nor even determined their location. So were they real or just a poetic creation? There are no Babylonian texts from the period that mention them, although there are plenty of Greek and Roman texts that do later on. They may also be confused with what are well-documented Assyrian gardens in Nineveh built around the same time. Now, it's believed that King Nebuchadnezzar II built the Hanging Gardens for his wife, Queen Amytis of Media, because she missed the mountains and woodlands of her home country. This may well be the case, but until we can prove it, they will remain the stuff of legend. Number 3, Pavlo-Petri. This might be a good time to mention Atlantis, the most famous lost city there ever was, but there were several other cities that suffered the same fate as Atlantis of being swallowed by the sea, and one of those was Pavlo-Petri. It was in Greece. It's about 5,000 years old, and it's the oldest submerged archaeological town site there is. That's right, it's not lost like the others, it was only lost at sea. The ruins were first discovered in 1967, and an almost complete town plan has been discovered, which is very cool. And they're using robots swimming around in the sea to map it. So it's a found city, and it's also perhaps a good indicator that other cities lost beneath the sea are not as mythical as people might think, and are just waiting to be discovered, possibly even Atlantis. Number 2, Troy. Speaking of once mythical cities, so everyone knows what Troy is from some movie or other, or by reading the Iliad of Homer, but for a long time, Troy was as mythical as Atlantis. Thanks originally to the discovery of defensive walls and golden jewelry 150 years ago, the site that is generally believed to be Troy has been excavated on what is now the west coast of Turkey. Researchers have found that cities have been destroyed and rebuilt on that site multiple times, but which one was the Troy that was besieged by the ancient Greeks? The one with the horse. That makes it semi-lost and good enough for this list, which makes sense, right? Number 1, Paititi, the lost city of the Inca. Now, this city is believed to have existed in eastern Peru, in the middle of the jungle by a waterfall. Oh, and chock full of silver, gold, jewels, and actually even covered in gold. In 2001, the Italian archaeologist Mario Poglia found old Jesuit references to the city, particularly references to its riches. He immediately reported this to the Pope, and now there are rumors that the Vatican keeps the location of the city a secret. So it's not just a lost city, it's also a conspiracy theory, which is a pretty good reason for me to arbitrarily put it at number 1. There are, of course, other ones I haven't mentioned, which you're welcome to write about in the comments section below. And tell me which one you'd like to go to. Now, I personally lean towards visiting Thinis one day. Don't forget to subscribe to never miss a list, and click here to see last week's awesome one. And click here for our Ancient Egypt top list. That's all for today. See you next week.